that this has been one of the great London marathons?
Well, it certainly has from the sharp end, and I'm sure this is going to be a great London marathon because we're heading for the biggest number of finishes ever in a marathon. And the organisers, you know, the finish, they're getting ready to meet the rush because we're now 3 hours and 20 minutes, and about 3.5 hours to 4 hours will be the peak finishing today. And they're all getting keyed up because they're easy to count the winners. It's easy to count them through when they're coming in ones and twos. But this is what the organisation is all about, and it's a brilliant organisation. I can't say too much about it because, you know, it doesn't just happen. It starts for next year tonight. They'll have a debrief and they'll talk about how they're going to do it again. But you know, with the spirit and atmosphere that comes out here, I know they work hard, but I'm sure that the people who are actually doing it are helping to make it such a well-organised event.
And we're getting around the time, Brendan, when we're going to see some agony shots as well. Those who are into the unknown territory that have never raced the distance before, 26 miles. And this is the teeth-gritting stage. K477, looking sprightly. Catherine O'Rourke from Eastbourne. Someone knows about Bob having a knee operation. 920X is the referee. Send him off. Tim Parker, I think, from Luton. Oh, this fella. 610E, and he's been running London marathons and raising something like £50,000. Ronnie Sloan from the Scottish Veterans Harries, Edinburgh. Absolutely tremendous. And I would remind you that our Galloping Gourmet started at 4:30 this morning, ran his first marathon, turned around, did it the other way around, joined in with the pack in the hope that this crowd would help him through. And they're doing just that. So, Dale, where are you? On his 11th.
The slower athletes merge with the with the fast athletes after about 3.5 miles. It's all worked out very carefully to the exact distance. Christensen merges in with the men very smoothly indeed. They're approaching the mile mark now, the leaders, and still the back markers waiting to start. Well, they've not got away tremendously fast, but that's Mike Riley of Hugh Jones's club. Hugh Jones, one of the favourites, who's finished first, second and third in this race. Mike Riley leading, but all the big names in the leading group. Hugh Jones wearing 4. Go Wei of China with the leaders. Well, they get round the marathon distance in all sorts of ways.
Brian Fever just coming through on clutch.
The Princess of Wales, who's made a tour actually of the workers and behind the scenes before the
David, Canada, Tony Millisoro, Carl Harrison, the pacemaker, and they're now getting into the race. Charlie Spedding, David from Canada, Tony Millisoro, Carl Harrison, the pacemaker, and they're now getting into the race.
She's got a number of people. McKeown of Cardiff has promised to run with her. There he is on the right, wearing 85, and he knows.
One of the Turks is up there too, Tony Malasorov in the green and white of Tipton. Dave Edge of Canada, Commonwealth Games medalist in the last games in Edinburgh. And meanwhile, as we look at the leader in the men's, and by my reckoning, he's already inside Steve Jones' record for the course, not world record, but record for the course, 2 hours 8:16, set in 1985. Band of the Irish Guards leading the 2nd Battalion of the Scots Guards, who are just coming off duty, and meanwhile a band very much on duty.
There he is, 15 himself up from a pretty well, from despair really, and has run himself back to fitness and wants to get a record in the Guinness Book of Records. And here, the race up in front, that's a good move because Mike Bishop has gone into the lead. He's gone ahead of Ted Vince, and Chris Hallam is doing the slipstreaming here, saving himself.
The bridge is 12 miles, just under half miles in the marathon, but just halfway over the Tower Bridge. As one of the wheelchair competitors going through, and they're very fast. And in the background, De Silva, the leader, looking buoyant and confident and full of bounce. But the dangerous time in the marathon is between 16 and 23 miles. 16, you've still got 10 to go. If you pushed it too hard, you pay. A bit of freedom up front, but it's not the same all the way through the race because there are so many taking part.
If they get that all the way around, well, I think it's Great Ormond Street. They're going to benefit enormously. Batman and Robin there, that's Peter and Alan Lammas. They're twins. One teaches at Watford, the other at Sarderstead. 32 years of age and going nicely. Double above the knee amputee. He came with a great reputation. He's done 1 hour 50.3. He's being chased by Mike Bishop. Chris Hallam has dropped back in their race, and De Silva just going past number 16 there, Kevin Doran.
Chasing the two Gateshead boys, Foster and Spedding. Hugh Jones is there, and they're racing, of course, for Olympic selection, because the first two Britons home get picked for Seoul in the Olympic Games. One of the great battlers in the marathon,
Brian Sleeper. He's got titanium crutches. He's determined to get there. Diverted down the horse guards parade. They're that fast that they've had to be diverted, otherwise they'd be running into the guards coming up. And Ted Vince has just been sent off his course.
The pack are beginning to close on the
challenge from Mike Bishop. Chris Hallam nowhere in sight. Mike Bishop, the 40-year-old from Gloucester, has had a tremendous race, but Ted Vince, here he is, winning another. He's won the Los Angeles Marathon, he's going to win the London, and that is a superb time, just outside 2 hours. And Mike Bishop coming in second there. Gutsy effort. Masses on the tower. This is where they're hoping that the euphoria of the crowd will keep them going, take it along. But this is
4:49, and he's got away from the rest. The question is, Henrik Jorgensen. He's finished third in this race, he's finished fifth, he's clocked his best time ever in this race, just over 2 hours 9 minutes. But he's never ever looked like winning the race before. A regular supporter, this is 4th London Marathon. I think he was about 30th last year, he had a bad time. Who's the Olympic reserve, and Hugh Jones 4th, and Foster and Jones looked like the two to go, certainly, to the Olympic Games for Britain, as the first two Britons home today. Siemenson's having to work very hard indeed. The look behind betrays the anxiety. But he looked back there, or said Siemensson then, I'm talking about
from Abingdon Amblers, but he'll be helped on his way, nursed back onto the course.
No nursing needed. Jorgensen of Denmark. He runs into an Olympic place for his country. Back in second place for the second time in the London Marathon, Kevin Foster of Gateshead. It's been graft for him, but he celebrates now the fact he's booked a plane ticket for Seoul and the Olympic Games in Korea. Kudo of Japan in third place, Olympic reserve for the Japanese, having finished third in their trial but not selected. And Hugh Jones, first, second and third in this London Marathon previously, beaten by a Briton for the first.
So the women closing the gap on the men all the time. Anne Ford, one of twins, of course, in this race, and Susan Tooby just behind her, also one of twins. But Ingrid Christensen takes the tape there, 2 hours 25:40.